Hey, what's going on guys? It's me, Aiden, from Cartoon Apocalypse, and today I'm going to be making an analysis video on the new episode of Miraculous Ladybug that aired today on Family Channel. Now this episode is called Backorder, and this episode, I'm not kidding, is probably one of my favorite episodes in the entire show. It had a perfect mixture of romance, comedy, and action. It was just the absolute perfect episode. But before we get into that, I do have a couple announcements to make. Today we did hit 100,000 subscribers, and I can't thank you guys enough. Now there will be a live stream sometime this weekend, I don't exactly know when. I will be making an update video talking about more details on that, but that's super cool. Thanks again for getting us to 100,000 subscribers, it means so much to me. And towards the end of the video, after I've kind of analyzed all of the episode, Thomas Ustrucht has been tweeting out a couple fun facts about this episode that I will be going through for those of you who are interested. Also, just a quick reminder, this Thursday, or Valentine's Day, there's going to be a new episode called Stormy Weather 2, so I will be making a video on that, so if you're interested in that, then you can go ahead and stay tuned. And if you didn't know, all of the future episodes that were going to be aired in February have been delayed. I made a video on that yesterday, so if you are interested in learning more about that, then you can go check that video out. But now let's go ahead and get into the analysis of this video. Right off from the start, I knew that this episode was just going to be really good because it started out with a whole new plot thing and introduced a whole new character that knows about the Miraculouses and is just a potential big plot character that could end up helping the team of Miraculous in the future. So basically this episode starts out with Marianne, the new character, and Master Fu. And these two characters are running away from something. We don't know what it is. It seems like authorities. Now this is set in the past, and that's kind of indicated by the older fashioned looking type of video. It's just darker, more black and white kind of. There are a couple colors. But it is interesting to see that Master Fu had a companion that knew about the Miraculouses in the Miraculous box and was essentially his friend. So these two characters are running from something. We don't know, but it's people in blimps, and we do hear them say, "Faster, get the box, we must get the box," or something like that. So they do know that this box, or the miracle box or something, poses a big threat, or to what they think a big threat to whatever this is. Now my personal opinion on this is that this is actually the French government or something. I don't exactly know how France works, but my guess is it's them trying to take the box or something similar to that because they think it's a danger to just the whole society and things like that. So Marianne and Fu run their separate ways, and we did learn one more thing from this, and that's Fu is going to be going to England. Now for those of you who don't know, the Miraculous team has confirmed that Ladybug and Cat Noir will be traveling to different places around the world, and I feel like England is going to play a significant role. And that's just my opinion, but I feel like it could tie very well back into this and kind of Master Fu's past, and this could be how a Miraculous is stored in England, because I believe it was confirmed somewhere that there was going to be more Miraculouses distributed in different parts of the world. So this could be either one, how there's already a Miraculous in England, or two, how there will be a Miraculous in England and it can tie back to this. And at the very end of the episode, we did learn that Marianne had to leave. She's going to go hide because Hawkmoth knows more about her now. So my guess is that she will actually be going to England, and just we will see her character again. My guess is we will definitely see her character again somewhere and somehow. So next, this episode just kind of talks about Marinette's, love drama as far as Adrien and Kagami, which is interesting. We're starting to see more of Adrien and Kagami, so Kagami is starting to appear like a more prominent character in the show. And pretty much Adrien and Kagami were invited to the royal wedding of England, also talking about England. So I don't think England is just this whole just made up thing. I believe that England does have an importance in this show that we will learn later. But it's funny seeing Marinette freak out and come up with these stories and things like she does. That's the part of the drama in this episode and the romance that helps tie it in and makes it the perfect episode. But basically Master Fu sends Waze to come get Marinette. And so Marinette sees him and she just kind of pushes everybody out because this is important. And so Waze just pretty much tells Marinette to come to Master Fu's place. And while on the train, Marinette is thinking out loud and is actually talking. And just this episode has a lot of comedy, and just this whole thing, just this whole episode, I was pretty much laughing the entire time because of how awesome this and how funny this episode was. But pretty much she writes this love letter to Adrian while on the train, and we do see some anime type style like backgrounds instead of the normal chalkboard or whiteboard type style. So it is interesting to see that because this show was originally suggested as an anime type show, so that's funny to see. But then we move on to a very important part in this episode. It's Master Fu. There's something wrong with him. We do later learn that he is just constipated, but Master Fu is making a really big deal about this. Master Fu talks about how if something bad happens to him, then he wants Marinette to be the new keeper of the Miracle Box, which is really, really big. And this is kind of foreshadowing the fact that Master Fu will probably die. Now, I actually did make a video about him possibly dying, and I've predicted this for a little while, and I feel like this is kind of hinting to it in the future. We learn at the end of the episode that Master Fu is fine. However, it is important to see that Master Fu he felt the need to say if something bad did happen, then Marinette would take over the Miracle Box. So if he felt the need to say that, then he knows that something big is going to happen in the future or just something soon. We don't exactly know, but he did get a feeling to tell Marinette that. So that's very important to see, and there is a chance of seeing Master Fu die sometime this season. However, it may also be in the next season. We don't really know yet. So then Master Fu gives Marinette this letter that he has written to Marianne, which is Master Fu's, love. You know how we have the Marinette and Adrian. Now we have the Master Fu and Marianne. So that's kind of fun to see another romance aspect to this episode. Again, helping it be this perfectly balanced episode that I love. And so Marinette decides to go give Adrian her love letter first, or so she thought. I already knew how this episode was going to go out. As soon as Marinette ran over to Adrian and gave him the letter, I knew that this was just going to be the wrong letter. And of course, this is how Marianne got akumatized, and this just is, we can just add this to the list of episodes that the akumatization was caused from Marinette. I don't exactly know how many episodes it is, but it feels like it's almost every single episode because Marinette causes so many akumatizations, it's actually funny. Now, one very important thing to note here is that we see Kagami's mother, and spoilers for if you don't want to learn more about Season 3, we do know that she will be akumatized sometime in this season. Not only that, it is important to note that she is actually blind, so that could play into how she gets akumatized, and it might have something to do with that. So then Marinette as Ladybug goes to deliver the letters, and then Marianne starts reading hers, and it's actually the letter to Adrian from Marinette, and she didn't like it. It wasn't meant for her. So then she gets sad and gets akumatized. And then another funny thing about this is that Gabriel Agreste he stops the train because of some akumatization. Now, I don't know why he felt the need to, but it seems like he's getting super desperate because at this just little thing, maybe this was like a super strong emotion, but it just seems like something that he didn't necessarily need to do. But it was really funny because he's just talking, like most people just think if they walk by, there's some guy in the bathroom talking to himself, and that's really funny. So then Marianne gets akumatized into backwater, and pretty much her power is the ability to make things go back in time, kind of like rewinding them, like backwarding them. That's not actually a word, I don't think, but that's just a pun with her name. So then we get mostly action in this episode, except for we do learn a couple things. One, Hawkmoth now knows that the guardian of the Miracle Box is Master Fu because Backwater confirms that. And now Hawkmoth knows that Marianne is connected with the person of the Miracle Box. And she says at the end of the episode that she is going to leave because of this reason. So now Hawkmoth knows a lot about just And now Hawkmoth knows a lot more to get him to learn who the Miracle Box is. And when Backboarder says Foo, Hawkmoth says there's nobody in Paris named Foo, meaning he has done a search of every single person who lives in Paris, or at least every single person who has a record in Paris, which is kind of, first of all, creepy, but also really shows his dedication. He's willing to search up every single name and kind of at least research it a little bit and have it in his mind a little bit, because he knew like just instantly that Master, like a name Foo, wasn't actually there. So that's very important to know. One also important thing to know is that this means that Hawkmoth can't actually like hear thoughts too much. He can only hear the emotion type things. Like Hawkmoth can get a very basic understanding of why people are feeling a certain way, but he can't get very detailed thoughts and descriptions of like, oh, Foo caused this pain in Marianne. He just knows that somebody over a long course of time caused Marianne pain. So this could be very important in the future because he doesn't necessarily know everything. So like if Cat Noir was akumatized, he's not going to know that that was Adrian unless if he goes out and says it. And then also another special mention to the Lucky Charm. This Lucky Charm was really cool, and I just love the thought that went into it. Ladybug said that it was one of the most complicated Lucky Charms, which also is a reason why this episode is so good, because it bumps everything up to a whole new level, because the Lucky Charm's more complicated. There's a whole new plot. It's just the perfect, well-rounded episode that I love. So then they defeat Backwarder. Marianne gets her message from Foo, and then we cut to Hawkmoth, and he kind of does his monologue, and we do see that a couple of the passengers, or at least one guy who needs to use the restroom, and then the conductor, he's saying, I know it's a long wait, and things like that, and then they just hear Hawkmoth like laugh in the bathroom, and that's just the funniest thing. Somebody needs to make a comic about this and just have it be Hawkmoth talking to himself and then somebody walking by just kind of wondering what it is. That would just be super funny. But I really laughed at this part in the episode. It was just super funny. So then at the very end, Foo and Marianne are talking, and pretty much Marianne brings up the fact that she needs to leave, and how this whole just thing was dangerous, and how just in general she was hinting to the fact that things are going to get really intense soon. At least that's what I gathered from it, because Hawkmoth is starting to narrow down where Foo is. Because as we know, he knows the general location of where Master Foo is. Not only that, he knows that his name is Foo, so he just has to keep watch pretty much, and just he needs to be on the eye for people, and just it's getting more intense here. So then, of course, the very end of the episode is Marinette talking with all of her girlfriends, kind of just talking about how her letter went, and she didn't actually explain to them that she accidentally gave him something else. And then Adrian comes over and gives her the medical thing of the constipation pills, and just this whole thing was funny because the girls end up finding out what it is, and Adrian says it so sincerely. He's just like, I got this just for you. It was so funny. I loved this episode. I'm not gonna say that this episode was my favorite episode, but it's definitely among probably the top 5. I don't think I even have a favorite. I think I just have a top 5 list, and this is definitely on that list. So yeah, this episode had a lot to talk about. I don't think I missed anything, but if I did, please let me know down in the comment section down below. I tried my best to go through everything as quickly and as efficiently as possible, but now, kind of with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about Thomas Ustruck's tweets. So last week, Thomas actually tweeted out about Chrismaster, and now he's tweeting out about Backwarder. Now, this is very exciting because if he continues to do this, we will learn more and more about the episodes, and it's not like these things are super important, they're just fun little facts, which are always fun to see. So Thomas tweeted out, Backwarder fun fact number 1. One of the most difficult Lucky Charm I had to come up with. Had to do it for real in the studio to see if it worked. Team thought I was crazy. And this was actually a retweet to someone saying that that Lucky Charm was really cool, so yeah. So next, he tweeted out Backwarder fun fact number 2. It was one of those crazy and very visual Lucky Charms. The type that gets us feedbacks from broadcasters like, okay, you're the only ones who can understand this, but we trust you guys to make it work. challenge accepted. And this was also a retweet to the same person, again saying that the Lucky Charm was really good and that it was pretty ingenious. Now the third tweet that Thomas tweeted out says, Backorder fun fact number 3. This was also one of the stories which made us laugh the most while writing it. We couldn't stop laughing. I'm sure you understand why. Very representative of what Miraculous is, a balance of comedy, action, and romance. And that's why I kept saying it, because he said it, and now after he said it, I realized how true this was, because just everything about this episode was so perfect. It was molded into the perfect snowball, and just it had the perfect balance of everything in the show. Everything that the show was crammed perfectly into this episode, and that's why I love this episode so much. Then the fourth tweet that Thomas tweeted out says, Backorder fun fact number 4. We've had to modify a scene because it was hilarious in French, but it couldn't work in the other languages. Read below if interested, French only. And then he replies to this tweet with the monologue of what it will be in French. So if you speak French, then I will leave this up on the screen for you for a little bit, but I don't, so I don't know, I don't get the reference, but maybe one of you guys laughed about it. And now the fifth tweet that Thomas sent out says, Backorder fun fact number 5. I thought it was going to be so hard to storyboard because of the comedy, the emotion, the animations that had to work in both ways. Very tricky, but at Bill Otomo did it so perfectly that I barely had a few retakes to ask. Thanks so much, Bill. Pretty much just saying thanks to Bill, who works on the team, for making the storyboard really good. And now the sixth and final tweet of this recording is Backorder fun fact number 6. Foo's lover Marianne Lenore is a homage to the grandma of Fred Lenore, one of the 4 horse riders of awesomeness who work on Miraculous. His grandma was in the resistance during the war, a true superheroine. So it's cool that this character is based off of somebody in real life. And we also get the perfect spelling of this character and her last name. So that's really interesting as well. So the Wikia page is probably going to use this tweet. But anyway guys, I think that's going to be it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, you can leave a like and subscribe for more content similar to this. Just a quick community service announcement. How do you guys feel about this new update, this new feel of Cartoon Apocalypse? Do you guys like the new update? Do you not like it? I think it is more professional, but I mean, if you guys don't like it and you guys all just hate it, then I'm up for changing it again. But I personally like it, and I think a lot of other people do. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. If you're excited for Stormy Weather 2, I am too. I'm getting really excited. I don't think it's going to beat this episode, but Stormy Weather 2 hopefully will have Mayura in it, and that's really exciting. So I'm super excited for that. Stay tuned for a video on that on Thursday. But yeah, that's going to be it for me, and I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.
Marionette.